And welcome back, everyone. Welcome back. Sunday, October 1st, 2 p.m. We are now at 2 p.m. Last video, I was having trouble removing all of these screws down here. I was able to get this one out, and this other one in the front that were stuck, I ended up using a whatchamacallit here, a small Torx bit, which my camera is not going to focus on. But I used a small Torx bit and a hammer, hammered it into the screw, and then applied some pressure and was able to get those out, except for this last one. So I'm going to try to just work the plastic back and forth after I get it all apart in order to try to loosen that up. Still need to pull out the transmission screws, so I'm going to go underneath the chassis and tear them apart right now. Boy, I tell you what, glue is definitely the enemy on this project. When I initially glued all this foam down, I wasn't necessarily intending on taking it back off or pulling the gears out of the transmission, so all of these holes were glued shut. This screw was able to come loose. I had to use a small pick in the effort of trying to clean the glue around or from around the screw heads, as well as from inside the screw heads. Another screw up here that needs to come out. So these might be a little bit of a problem. Give me a minute here and I'm going to see if I can get these guys loose. I just got done chiseling out that glue, so I haven't put an Allen wrench in them just yet. I'm thinking I should almost pull out my soldering iron maybe, and I don't know, maybe try to heat these up a little bit with the soldering iron, because I'm afraid if I put any kind of flame towards this, that this whole bottom of the truck is probably going to ignite from all the glue residue that's stuck on it. So don't know what I'm going to do here. I'm going to try an Allen wrench first. Maybe I'll whack all these with a hammer one time just to try to shake them loose a little bit before I do that. But this could be a real challenge here. It could be a project stopper almost. So give me a second and let me see how this turns out. Yep, well, I got a couple of the screws loose, but not enough to do the job. So I'm going to heat up the old soldering iron and try to melt the leftover glue residue out of these screws with a soldering iron. Not too sure if that's going to work or not. I just don't know. I'm kind of running low on ideas. Unless I superheat this little pick here with a torch lighter, I'm going to try to melt them out with the edge of the pick. That actually might be a better idea. Maybe I should try that first, just so I'm not gumming up my soldering iron. Now, kids, don't do this without have your parents do this for you. I'm not even sure if that's really doing anything. Probably not being able to apply enough heat at I need to kind of focus the heat down in there. Since I'm trying to melt out glue here. Yeah, hindsight is 20/20. I tell you what. Need to change my RC channel name to Hindsight RC. Whoa, watch yourself. Really don't know if this is even doing anything. Oh, there's one. We got lucky on that guy. That one needs a little bit more, I think. I think we're getting lucky with this guy. This one needs a little bit more love. So does this one. I don't want to risk it. Don't want to risk it just yet. I don't want to strip anything out. So I'm going to put you guys on pause and reattempt this. And I got to tell you all, man, structural integrity is just going right out the window on this truck. Going right out the window. Pieces of plastic are breaking off left and right. WLtoys just has a way. I mean, maybe it's not all of them. Maybe it's just mine, but it seems like, you know, when you have 2 screws to remove, the second one's going to be stripped out every time. So, yeah, it's I don't know how structurally sound this thing's going to be at the end of this mess. But I'll put it back together anyways. One of these pieces broke off down here at the end. It was just spinning freely at the bottom of the chassis. So I just assumed it was loose, but nope, it just snapped it right off. And then this other screw over here was stripped out. But did manage to get all that crap apart. Still need to get the rest of this transmission out of here. This is a screw right here where the other end broke off on this plastic piece right there. That's the other end of this part. So I need to remove this screw right up here and this guy right down here are the last 2 that are holding me up. And they are not wanting to come loose. So, you know, no help to me putting the glue on there. So that's partially my fault. You know, hindsight's 20/20. I probably should have put some tape across here before I glued all this down, just to make sure that they didn't get stuck, but they did, so I'm going to have to wrestle with these guys. So give me a couple more minutes here, people. And we are back, and I did what I didn't want to do. I used a little torch lighter. I applied a small amount of heat on both of these screws. The glue did catch fire shortly. I had to keep blowing that out as I was doing that, but I was able to get these 2 screws loose. Which are the last 2 that are holding the transmission in place. And since these are bad screws, I have a little spot over on the side where I'm just kind of throwing all my bad screws. So I know that I'm going to have to replace all these. That should have been the last screw. Not too sure what's holding this thing in place still. Feels like there might be one more screw around here somewhere. That plastic is still pretty warm. Either that or that glue melted its way, went right on through, which I think it might have did. This is not the proper way to do things. It's definitely stuck on there somewhere. Not too sure where though. It could be my imagination. It might be just stuck down somehow. No, I think there's one more screw right here buried underneath this glue. So quick pause so I can dig that guy out. All right, that's our culprit right there. Got lucky on this one. And that is out. And there's our transmission, finally. A little bit moist down there. Might have seen some water. Alright, one more second here. I'm going to wipe out this tub real quick and then get to pulling apart the transmission. Alright, we are back. Chassis has all been wiped all the crud out of that guy. I'm just going to put this off to the side since I'm not going to be touching it for a few minutes. And we're looking at the transmission. You know, I said that I haven't had this out of here before, and I have to print a retraction because I actually have had this out of here once before. I remember splitting the case and putting grease inside the transmission because there was no grease inside the transmission. So that was in the beginning when I was building my Vatera. So this has been apart once before. The motor hasn't been out of it though. And this one little screw right down here is stripped out. So I'm going to have to drill that guy out of there. That is a fact. So I'm going to get the drilling that guy out real quick so I can commence to taking this apart. And we are back, and I still haven't really progressed any farther. I pulled the retention spring off the slipper clutch here. I'm going to pull this gear off of here. I still can't get this Allen screw out. It is just stripped out in there. I was able to get off the front drive shaft. That came out without a problem. The Allen set screw on that. I seem to remember having that problem the last time too, and I was able to get the front drive shaft off, so I was still able to take it apart. But I want to replace this entire joint here going into the drive shaft with the Vatera version. I could just replace the pin going through the middle and replace this end right here that's going into the drive shaft. But I've shattered one of these Vatera or one of these WLtoy pieces before. Not necessarily this one, but the one on the front outdrives on the differential. I split one of those in half. So I'm kind of afraid that this is still going to be a weak spot. So I'm going to try to pull off the spur gear, apply a lot of heat to this, and see if I can just pry this whole thing right off of the shaft. That Allen set screw is not going through the shaft. It's just countersunk into a little flat spot. So I'm going to see if I can just try to pop that off of there. And we are back again, and unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to pry that off of there because there is a little teeny weeny lip right here on the gear, or right on the shaft, stopping that set screw from sliding off. So prying it off is probably going to inflict some damage if I attempt to do that. So I think my best option right now is just to go ahead and pull this little ball joint out of the socket, and I'll replace it from here back with Vatera stuff and just cross my fingers and hope that this little coupler here stays together. I just don't have anything nice to say about WLtoys today, people. Man, they just love giving you roadblocks. Motor has never been out. This screw's stripped. That screw's stripped. This screw is stripped. This part still won't come undone. Inner screw on the drive shaft is stripped. And then on the other end of the drive shaft as well, wherever I put that at, right here, that inner screw down there is stripped as well. So there is just no taking this apart. I tell you, man, WLtoys does not want you working on their stuff. They just don't want you working on it, man. Everything's all stripped out. I mean, how are you supposed to get that screw out of there? So, you know, what do you do? I'm probably just going to replace this lower end down here. I don't know. I don't know. I am definitely hitting some roadblocks here with this project. But we're going to try to overcome it. I'm going to bust out the drill and drill these out. This one, this one, and this one. And go from there, I guess. I just really don't know what else to do about this. I'm not going to be able to get this drive shaft apart, so I'm going to have to rely on WLtoy material. I'll probably just pull this coupler out of here and replace that pin in there with a heavier pin. Same at the bottom. But at this point in time, since I can't get these apart, that's pretty much my only option. It's either that or I start stealing parts from my twin hammers, which might have to happen in order to make this project come to a completion of some sort. Excuse my poor English, guys. I'm just having a rough time with this here WLtoys today. So give me a couple minutes. Let me drill these guys out, and we'll be right back. Just battling through adversity here. All right, well, got the motor off. Yay! I tried drilling that out. I have a whole medley of drill bits laid out on this table. None of them were working. The only way that I was able to get it off was by using this Torx bit. Sorry about that. I'm trying to get this focus on here for you guys. This here Torx bit, and I just had to hammer it into the end of the screw and gently unscrew it with that. So that was the only way that I was able to remove the screws out of the motor. Like I said, I tried drilling the heads out, man, but they're like made out of kryptonite, man. Either that or I have the worst drill bits in the world. I'm thinking it's the second one. Last little bit is to drill out this screw right here. And once again, I have the worst drill bits in the world. You know, and I've broken many drill bits in my lifetime. But I gotta tell you, this is a first. I've never bent a drill bit. And I guess I bent that one. So talk about battling through adversity. Alright, so still have to remove this last screw. So one more minute. I just unpause it to show you guys the carnage. Yep, bent bit. Yeah, like I said, I've broken many drill bits, man, but I've never, ever bent one. That is crazy. I tell you, what a messed up situation. So there's just a little bit of screw head here. And I'm just turning this, trying to get it loose. So yeah, a little bit time consuming. Alright, she is free at last, and WLtoys had a bunch of glue in this slot. That's not from me. That's the bottom half. So at least we got it out. A little bit messed up, but it is out. So moving on, time to split the transmission in half. Another garbage screw. At least we're getting somewhere though. A little on a positive note. So I'm going to go ahead and split the transmission here off camera, and we'll come back to an open case. And the stripped out screw adventure continues. Alright, these two little ones on the bottom came out without a problem. They're loose. But these two guys up top, they are not coming out. So I'm going to have to use the old Torx bit here. take this out to the garage, set it over top of a couple 2x4s so I don't damage this output shaft for the spur gear. So I'm going to put this over a couple of 2x4s and then hammer this torque spit into the end of these screws and try to work those loose. So one more pause here. And we are back. It's been about 2 minutes. Got those guys loose with the old tried and true method with the torque spit here. I'm kind of buggering up this torque spit a little bit, but that seems to be the tried and true method for removing these screws. Just hammering that bit right into the end and then working it loose. Alright, so we got these guys out of here. And those are going to have to be replaced as well. Just got to make a mental note of that. And let me pull out these last two little guys and we'll move on. Alright, we are back. Pulling out these last two little screws. Trying to see which way my camera's facing here. And pulling this mess apart. Trying to see where the damage occurred in here. I see it right here. It's not the high and low gear on this on the output shaft for the spur, but these next two gears right here are the ones that seem to be stripped out. But you're probably not going to be able to see. But they are kind of boogered up a little bit. So it's these two guys right here that are stripped out. Alright, well, we'll get this guy apart here and throw in some metal. Alright guys, so we are 23 minutes in. I'm thinking about starting up another video here. The high and low gear were fine on this vehicle. Or at least the gears on for the spur gear on the shaft here. So I just took a screwdriver and I chased out all the threads just to make sure that they were clean. There's just little bits of grease in there. So I'm not going to use the Vetera high-low gear. I'm just going to leave those out and you know, run with the WLtoys ones for the moment. Hindsight, I probably should take them out. The Vetera shift fork and assembly, I'm probably not going to use this. I mean, I probably should, but the WLtoys, actually, you know, to say something nice about them, they have a nice aluminum one in here. So I don't know. I mean, maybe for durability, I should probably put the other one in from Vetera, since I'm going to be going to metal gears here instead of plastic. But I'm not too sure what I want to do about that. But these two gears here have to come out. And this whole mess is actually getting replaced. We're going all metal. So, like I said, I think I'm going to start up a new video because we're hitting 25 minutes right now. So thanks for watching, guys. This is the end of video 2. Video 3 coming up shortly. And yeah, much appreciated. We'll see you all here in a few.